If you've been tuned into the happenings within the coaster community, then you know about some of the newest coasters that either have or will be opening soon to a theme park near you. You also may have noticed a new bad trend, that these announcements are becoming diminished due to the opening date becoming more of a soft launch in the best case scenario, or straight up lies in the worst cases. I don't know if coaster opening delays were this prominent in the past, but what I do know is that these coaster delays are becoming ever more present nowadays. And with recent news about Georgia Surfer and Flash Vertical Velocity openings being pushed to 2025, it's time to further explain and give out my takes on this aggravating topic. My name is Avery, and this is United Coaster. When it comes to delays, it's best to sum them up into three major categories. Renovation, when a legacy coaster has been operating for some time before shutting down to undergo a significant change. Standing but not operating, when a new coaster has just opened up and closes for a litany of reasons from bad testing to structural problems. And lastly, false openings, where a coaster was promised to be opened at a specific date or year, but is still in construction. Taking a look into the first one, renovations are ultimately a great thing for both parks and the coaster community on a whole. This could be as simple as getting new coaster trains. Take for instance the new trains on Boomerang at my home park of Fiesta, Texas, where they ditched the old headbanging over the shoulder restraints for the modern Vekoma ones. This upgrade dramatically reduced the discomfort on this ride and makes it out to be a re-rideable experience, especially for me. Renovations can also be quite drastic, as in completely new layouts, like the notorious RMC conversions that enlivened the coaster community over the past decade. For new renovations that are being delayed, look no further than Montezuma's Revenge at Knott's Berry Farm in California. In early February 2022, Knott's closed the first ever flywheel-operated Schwarzkopf shuttle loop coaster to give us an entirely new experience named Montezuma's Revenge, the Forbidden Fortress. This reimagining of the classic ride will remove the flywheel-operated system and apparently the loop, trading it out for an LSM multi-launch that has randomized forward and backward launches for each ride and a dark ride story throughout it. This change was slated to be completed sometime in 2023, but has been pushed to 2025 from construction delays. I can understand the frustration on that, but at least you can visibly see them working and updating parkgoers as the years go by. So my negative feelings are justified for the most part in the case of false openings. Whenever a new attraction is announced, it's expected that it should open on the date that it says on the announcement. I can understand a few weeks to a few months of a delay, but some take years to open. A prominent one for this case in recent years was Aquaman Power Wave at Six Flags Over Texas. This Mock Ride's water shuttle coaster was to be opened in the summer of 2020. That plan fell through when the pandemic hit, so of course it was delayed until 2022. The second delay of this ride happened when Over Texas decided to increase the capacity by adding a second train with the addition of a station turntable. The fact that this wasn't in the original design is beyond me. The third delay was due to supply chain issues, finally having it soft open in March 2023. A whole 3 years after it was supposed to open. I understand that Aquaman is not considered one of the major factors of visiting this park, but parkgoers plan vacations around new rides and coaster openings. Seeing how this ride was delayed potentially deterred the audience that Over Texas wanted to attract. The most egregious of coaster delays like this in my opinion is Codaland. I have an entire video over this topic that still holds up to this day, since at the time of this recording, Codaland still hasn't opened to either Palindrome or Circuit Breaker. Although Palindrome is fully built with only the station needing to be completed, there still isn't an opening date on it yet. My best guess is in November, but according to RCDB, both coasters are set to open in 2025, and Circuit Breaker is still on the ground for now, so consider that my update on both of them. All that being said, the original openings of these coasters were 2022 and 2023. Just like with Aquaman, the delays of these coasters are causing trips to either be changed or straight up cancelled. More importantly for Codaland, these delays are making the attraction factor for these coasters in the park drop. In the case of world firsts like these two, I don't expect a massive drop in initial turnout, but the turnout would have been far greater if the coasters opened up on time when the hype was still there. That leads me to the recent news of both Flash Vertical Velocity and Georgia Surfer being delayed until 2025. According to the park's official sites, both delays are similar in their reasoning of supply chain issues and the overall timetable of building the coasters. As much as I don't like delays, I'm glad that Six Flags is providing information on why they're happening. For these coasters, especially the one at Great Adventure, I don't see a massive drop in hype because of this delay. And if missed openings are becoming a growing trend, then I'll gladly take that over SBNO delays. But before I get into all that, if you're new here and like what I have to say, go ahead and subscribe. Alright, I'm getting back into the standing but not operating coasters. I'm classifying these as new coasters and rides that open to the public only to close years, months, or even days later due to major errors. Pantheon at Busch Gardens, Icebreaker at SeaWorld Orlando, Top Thrill 2 at Cedar Point, Harley Quinn Crazy Coaster at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, and the Kid Flash coasters at Fiesta, Texas and over Georgia are victims of these, to name a few. Wait, the last 3 are Skyline attractions, so they get a pass since they're notoriously a bad manufacturer, and that Harley Quinn has already been closed and demolished. Nevertheless, the other coasters either had their problems result in a rough opening, or in Top Thrills 2's case, still closed because of it. That's right, this record-breaking behemoth of a coaster has been closed for 3 months now due to the trains causing too much strain on the ride. The reason why this is aggravating is that this is something that should have been detected and fixed in both the computer models and the actual stress testing of the coaster. We don't have all the details, but it is great to know that Cedar Point took the choice to close the ride prior to an eventual injury rather than after it. The same can be said for Steel Curtain at Kennywood. After operating for only 4 years, this 9-time inverting SNS made coaster has been closed and will remain closed for the entire year to undergo modifications according to their website. Reiterating my rationale regarding delays, this is a noteworthy experience, as no one was aware of the closure of Steel Curtain until a few days before Kennywood opened up for their season. This actually led to a class action lawsuit against Kennywood because of the number of people who bought season passes aiming to go on Steel Curtain this year. I'm thinking, to save face, the best case scenario for Kennywood is to have Steel Curtain complete its modifications and safely open at the start of next season. If I'm looking at all 3 of the big types of delays, it's the standing but not operating coasters right after opening that are becoming the norm. And I mean, this isn't just a North America thing either, as the Mock Ride's Hypercoaster Hyperia also had a rough opening. I mean, it had to close temporarily because of lift hill problems, although it's open now without a hitch. Now with future coasters coming out next year, like the new and highly anticipated Alpenferry at Canada's Wonderland, or whatever Kings Island is doing with the Beast, I really don't want to hear about another new coaster closing indefinitely from building oversights. I know that these delays are important and are mandatory for the safety of parkgoers and parts issues. I would wait another year or even 2 for a consistent attraction than to have parks rush it just for it to close at best or hurt somebody at worst. If you agree, disagree, or want to add your input into this topic, don't be shy to comment below. Also, if you stayed this long, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Lastly, I just want to say thank you for watching, and remember to stay united.